This is Hector Santiesteban with Adult Skills, and I wanted to make today's video to talk about how to pay your bills and really be able to do it effectively as well. And I was scrolling through Twitter and I saw this tweet from Viviana, and she said, "I just got paid and I already waste all of it on bills, hashtag adult problems." And Whitley, she says, "I feel like I have to hold my breath balancing the checkbook, hashtag adult problems." And I think that so many of us millennials, we go through life because we're just on this track that people set us on, right? Whether it be our parents or our teachers or our coaches, and no one ever gave us the raw skills and the basic skills and be able to just be able to do something like paying our bills. And so I think that being able to pay your bills helps so much with stress and anxiety, to be able to actually overcome some of the limitations that you have financially, right? I think about no more overdrafts, no more late fees, right? I think about so many times your paycheck, it just seems to disappear because it gets hit over and over with unexpected charges that you didn't know that were going to come up. So we're going to talk about today how to not be broke and how to be able to make sure that you have enough money to not only be able to pay your bills, but also be able to live the life of your dreams as well. And so I think that there's three things that you need to be able to do in order to effectively pay your bills. And the first thing that you got to have is you got to have priorities. And it's really, really important for you to know what's important for you so that you can know what you need to be spending your money on. I'll tell you a quick story. For me the other day, I was going through with one of my financial coaches, and we realized that I had spent almost $600 just on eating out in the few weeks of the month. It was August 15th, I believe, right in the middle of August, and I'd already spent $500 on food. And granted, I was moving into a new place with my girlfriend, and so we were in the middle of a big move. However, looking back on it and realizing that I had spent $500 eating out was such a big realization for me, and I realized that my priorities were much bigger than that. The priorities that I have for myself and my future and my family are much bigger than eating out, and so for me that made it really easy for me to make a decision to start going to the grocery store more, to start eating in more. And so you want to spend the money on the things that you really value as well. So you got to have some priorities, and you got to spend some time thinking about what those priorities are. Second thing that you need to have is you need to have a system. And so I think it's really, really important for you to have a system that you can work with and you can engage with on a weekly, bi-weekly, monthly basis, something that you're doing over and over. Because what we found is that if you read a book called The Power of Habit, Charles Duhigg talks about the majority of our daily actions are made up of habits, not of individual decisions. And what we found is that there's actually less brain power and less energy devoted to habits. And so it's much easier to make that decision when it's already something that you do on a regular and a consistent basis. I think so many times young people, we avoid paying bills, and part of it is because we don't like to do it, because it's something that we only do once every so often. It's something that only comes up when it has to, as opposed to something that we do regularly and consistently. It's something that we actually look forward to. And so the nice thing about creating a system is that it creates something that we can engage with on a weekly, on a monthly basis, and it's something that helps us to not ignore the important things such as finances, that your finances are not going away. It's something that you just can't, you're not going to do it once. It's something that you're going to have to be able to do over and over and over again. And the problem is that our teachers, our parents, they didn't really tell us this growing up, and they just kind of threw us into the real world and expected that we would be able to figure it out. But the problem is it's not something that you can just figure out doing one time. It's something that has to be a habit. It has to be something that you do consistently as well. And I focus it on a daily basis because it's actually something that gives me a lot of clarity. It gives me a lot of focus. It actually calms me down a lot because I actually have a lot of confidence in what I'm doing with my finances. And so you've got to have a plan. You got to have the right steps, and having the right steps is really, really important for you to be able to create a system, create some habits that are going to be able to allow you to pay your bills effectively. So I've got three things that'll make it really easy for you to be able to pay your bills consistently, effectively, and then be able to help you to be able to grow your wealth, grow your lifestyle. Number one thing is you got to write out all of your expenses, right? You got to categorize them, and you got to write all of them out. And so what I would do is I would look back on your previous month's statements, right? Look back on your online banking, go online and look back at what did you spend all of your money on. And there are people that you can pay to do this. There are programs and apps. Mint is great. Quicken is one that I know that people use a lot. There are tons of them. Look them up. We'll have some resources for you guys as well, but categorize all of them and figure out what you're actually spending your money on. When I look back and I found out that I was spending almost $500, or excuse me, almost $600 on food, it made it really easy for me to make that decision to make a change and to do something different. So categorize them, right? Figure out what there are in the different categories. The second thing that you want to do is you want to find out the expenses that are fixed and the expenses that are irregular. And what I mean by that is, for me, there's a cell phone bill that hits every 20th of the month, and it's the same number every month, every time, and I know that it's coming and I can plan for it. And that's the nice thing about it is rent is it's the same thing, it's due on the first of the month, it's the same thing every time, and so we can account for that. Now there are things that are a little or more irregular. Things like gas, right, which can go up or down a little bit based on how much you're driving, where you're going, things like that. Things like the electricity or the gas, whether you have AC. I mean, all those things vary, and so you just want to be able to account for that. Be able to understand what is it on average, what is it going to be, or during these months, what is it going to be? And then also look into the expenses that only come up certain times of the year. Some people are heading into school, so you buy books like once or twice a year. That's something that you want to account for. Christmas is coming up, the holidays, right? That's something that you want to account for. But if you can be able to identify those expenses, the ones that are consistent and then the ones that are irregular, it's going to allow you to be able to craft what's called a spending plan. And so the second thing that I would say is be able to put all of those into your dates, put all the dates and all the amounts of all of the bills that are due, and you want to have them on a list, right? And in some of you, there's a lot of different things that you can use. If you go to bills.millennialskills.com, that's bills.millennialskills.com, you can actually find the Millennial Skills map. So know the dates that you're going to do that. And the last thing that I would say is move money over weekly, right? You want to automate it, and so make sure that money is being able to be moving over every single week. For me, I pull out money out of my account every single week to be able to pay for rent, because I'm the type of person that if it's in my account, I'm going to spend it. And so I want to be able to put that money away and put that money aside so that when it's time to pay it, it's already sitting there. Some people put it in envelopes, some people use different accounts. I have a separate checking account that I do not have a debit card for. So be able to move your money over weekly, create a habit for it as well. So move money over every week, make it a habit, and if you automate it, it's going to make it a system. It's going to make it really easy for you as well. So once again, if you want to get the Millennial Skills blueprint for that, it's bills.millennialskills.com. It's bills.millennialskills.com. Thank you for being with us today. I appreciate it. Reach out if we can answer any questions for you, if we can provide any value to your life as well. We appreciate you being on this journey to more money and more meaning.